Howdy, guys. Welcome to night 82 of Big Brother All Stars. And this is Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Night 82. We're almost to the very end. Can you believe it? But before we get to the finale, we do have a few more nights of conversation. I'll cover it up until the very end of the season. With that being said, we do have a couple of spoilers we'll talk about again this evening. So if you don't want spoilers, just pause. Just wait until after the CBS episode that airs tonight, and then you can come back and watch everything we're talking about. But you have been warned. So what are the spoilers? Well, we know who won part one and part two of the competition so far. Nicole won the first. Cody won the second. They'll be going head to head on finale night. The winner goes before the jury, and they get to decide who to drag with them to the final two. So a key competition Wednesday night. With that being said, what happened tonight? We had some conversations in those very subtly trying to pitch to both of them why it may make more sense to take him into the final two, regardless of which one of those wins. We've got Nicole practicing her speech just in case she does make it in front of the jury, and a lot of non-game talk, but some fun stuff as well, and some interesting stuff also. So we'll get all into all of it right now over the next few minutes. So let's start off in the key room. Nicole is in there. She's talking to herself. She's talking to the cameras. So I appreciate that, Nicole, because she's going over the speech that she will give to the jury if she happens to make it to final two. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for letting us in on what you plan to say, Nicole. So in summary, what is Nicole's speech campaign, her pitch going to be on Wednesday night? She's got to talk about the fact that she will have been in the house for 254 days, more than any other Big Brother player in history. And that's not just because of luck. It's because she's a good gameplay, a good player of the Big Brother game. She's going to say, though, that as a former winner, she knew coming in, she had a huge target on her back. I knew she was going to use that pitch. I just knew it. That she had a huge target on her back, and that she knew her only chance to survive would be to act completely helpless and weak from the beginning so that she wouldn't be perceived as a big target. She says at that point, she then also took a competition beast in Cody, a social butterfly in Danny, a badass female in Christmas, and the other former winner, Ian, and she pulled them all together. She had alliances, final twos with all of them. So she created a strong team around her to keep her safe so that she could make it to the very end. She also is going to talk about Davon. Basically, she's talking to Davon, saying that she knew that Davon didn't trust her coming in, and she knew that she had to repair that. And everything that she said to Davon, she absolutely meant when she talked to Davon. And we'll talk about that in just a second, Ian and David and all that. She also mentions that she threw all of her competitions early in the season because she just absolutely had to be portrayed as weak. And later, when she had to win competitions towards the end of the season, that's when she won them. And she won comps that let her control the flow of the game at the end and everything else, but that she threw them early in the season. She's also going to talk about the fact that her whole game was blown up on day 28 when a wall yeller identified that Cody and Nicole were working together. And she says, we were, but at that point in time, everyone else now knew that we were as well. And she says, but even with them knowing that, I'm still here. I'm still here because of the game I played. She then talks a little bit more about this Ian David situation, and Davon was upset about that, as we know. But she's saying that she pinned her vote on David for purely strategic reasons, that it allowed her to keep her alliance strong by protecting Tyler, not sending him home, and also allowing her not to have any blood on her hands by sending out Ian, which some people would have been upset about. So she's saying it was a very strategic move is the reason that I did that particular vote flip at the time. She talks about that during the triple evictions, she sat on the block twice, and yet she is still here. Even with the target on her back, sitting on the block twice in one night, she survived both of them. And even at that, she says, one time I was on the block against the social butterfly of Danny with such a great social game. The other time I was on the block with a guy who was zero threat because he'd only played one day of Big Brother before this. Well, David played a little more than one game, Nicole, but I get it. And she's saying, so even when I was up against those two, y'all still kept me. And so it's because of the game I've played so far. She talks about that That as much as and I think it's a good pitch. I think she's saying what needs to be said. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. We'll find out. She has to make it first, but if she gets there, it's still going to be tough to beat Cody, in my opinion. But I think she's got a good pitch. She's going about it the right way. She is worried. She vocalizes that she is worried that she doesn't know that she can beat someone with 7 competition wins. And is she really going to be able to convince a jury that, for the most part, probably has already made up their mind before they ever make it onto the CBS stage on Wednesday night? It's going to be tough, Nicole. Does that mean that maybe you ought to consider some different options? When she talks about how difficult it's going to be, I don't know if that's just Nicole being a little on the pessimistic side, as she sometimes tends to be, or are the wheels spinning and Nicole's maybe realizing that maybe her best chance at winning may not be taking Cody along if she has the decision-making power at the end. I don't know. I still think she takes Cody, but at least she's thinking about it. It should seem like. Apparently, at this point, the house guests are all in the kitchen. They're talking. They think Big Brother is going to provide dinner and drinks for this evening. I'm not sure exactly why they think that, but they do think it. Probably more people asking for alcohol tonight than I've seen in a long time in Big Brother, and they get a little bit eventually at the end. There's a big discussion about the term SOS and what it stands for. Save our ships, save our souls. They're trying to figure out exactly what it is. Just an FYI, SOS doesn't mean anything at all. Those letters are just a designation for 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, which back in the old days when Morse code was being used, that just was recognized as the easiest way to request help. That would be easiest for someone to enter, someone to recognize 333, which just happened to be SOS. So it doesn't stand for anything at all. But thought y'all appreciate knowing that little tidbit of information, but they do have that conversation. Enzo's talking to the cameras, to Big Brother. He's asking for alcohol. So, hey, just any alcohol. It'd be so great. He says, and while you're at it, is there any chance we could get something on TV as well? Is there anything that we could watch on TV? I get it. Last season, man, they could have shown the most boring documentary in some foreign language, and I still would have watched every minute of it and ask him to repeat it when we got done, because you are so desperate for any kind of entertainment in there. So he's asking for alcohol and a TV program. Cody's saying, yeah, you may get alcohol. You're not getting TV, Enzo. And he didn't. Enzo and Cody, I guess, eventually give up on Big Brother giving them dinner because they decide to make chicken fried rice. I'm not sure they've ever made it before, but they figure they'll go out with a bit of a bang. So they're going to fix something different. They're going to fix some chicken fried rice. So they start doing that. At this point, I think they're in the living room. They start talking about death. I didn't even know if I was going to mention it. I said, wrap up, but I got to give y'all all the overnight feed summaries, right? So they start talking about death, how long they think they'll live. Nicole thinks that she'll die in her 80s, but she's probably going to get dementia at 72. Okay. Cody says he'll probably pass away in his 80s. Enzo says, I'm going to die at the age of 76. It's oddly specific, Enzo. Do you know something we don't know? I don't know, but kind of a very morbid, literally, topic to be discussing. But they talk about that for a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily get any better, because the next topic of conversation, they have decided, I think Cody's the one behind it more than anyone else, but they've decided that tomorrow is going to be talk in an accent all day long. Nothing but talking in an accent. I cover these feeds every night. I'll hopefully be back in 24 hours. But if I'm not, just know it's because I couldn't stand any more talking with an accent, and I just pitched my laptop somewhere else and gave up on the whole thing. I'll be back, but I'm not going to force you to listen to me talking with an accent, other than my Texas accent, which hopefully you're used to by now, and you aren't getting away from that one, okay? But yeah, tomorrow's talking an accent day. The group moves, maybe that was in the kitchen, because then the group moves to the living room. They start talking about Halloween candy. They talk about Nicole's podcasting that she does outside, merchandising, sending t-shirts, things like that. Enzo's talking about getting a cat. Cody is saying, yeah, I'm definitely a dog person more than a cat person. But they have that conversation a few times throughout the evening. At this point, Nicole is in the diary room, and Cody and Enzo start working back on the fried rice again. Cody breaks the one sharp knife they have in the whole house. They eventually get a replacement, but he's broken that. They're wondering if they're going to get the backyard back again before the finale night. And Enzo is trying to help Cody with possible questions that Cody may have in the very final competitions. They're thinking it could be questions about house guest preferences. Did so-and-so wear this shirt? Did so-and-so like vegan food or regular food? Things like that. Eventually, Nicole comes out of the diary room, finds a new knife. She tries out the fried rice that they fixed, takes a bite, doesn't say anything, but then goes over and throws away the rest of her serving. Enzo goes over and tries it and says, oh, why does it taste like slop? So apparently not a real success in terms of the chicken fried rice. Cody tries it, says, yeah, maybe not the best. But I do know as Enzo continues to eat it throughout the evening. So maybe it's not so bad, or maybe Enzo's just incredibly hungry. The house does, though, get a bottle of wine, so they're incredibly happy about that. Enzo starts talking to Cody about how devastating third place is going to be. He says, it's not like second place where you at least get $50,000. Third place, you don't get any extra money at all. He's saying that he really wanted to punch Hayden in the face in Enzo's previous season when Hayden did not take Enzo to the final two and Enzo ended up in third place. Cody is saying, yeah, but Enzo, being in front of the jury is not a lot of fun either. Sorry, Cody. I'm not feeling sorry for you that you're getting to go before a jury potentially and arguing to have yourself given $500,000. But Cody's saying, yeah, that's not a walk in the park either, Enzo. Enzo said, how great would it be just to be in front of the jury? I think it'd be fantastic. And hey, that extra $50,000, that would be fantastic for my family. It would mean so much to my family. And he's telling Cody, saying, look, I know you're going to win it. If you take me, I know you're going to win it. And that's fine. I don't have any problem. It's just me getting to the very end, second place. That is perfect with me. So again, Enzo's making his pitch that you're going to win with me, Cody. But be a dude, a friend, and take me along as well if you possibly can. They're talking about jury questions. What kind of questions the jury are going to ask. They figure that Christmas and Danny are going to try to really come after them, try to get cute with their questions. They think maybe Davon will also. So they're trying to think about what kind of questions could potentially be asked. Enzo is telling Cody that he kept Nicole just to protect Cody and because he knows that she would start winning things and would protect both of them. So he's trying to portray that he was a team player. He was helping Cody all the way through by protecting Nicole. And as much as we're kind of criticizing Enzo for making that decision to keep Nicole and send David home, that we don't know what would have happened. It could be that Enzo wouldn't have made final three even if he hadn't done that. So coulda, shoulda, woulda. We'll never know. Enzo's in the diary room, and so Nicole and Cody are playing chess together. Nicole is quizzing Cody, saying, hey, what did Enzo say while I was in the diary room? And he's saying, Enzo's just saying, you're my boy, yo, it's typical Enzo. Nicole saying, well, Cody, are you going to take me to the final two? And Cody says, nah, I think I'm going to catch you and take Enzo instead. And, obviously he's joking. Maybe, is he? He tells her, said, no, of course I'm going to take you. Nicole says, well, I'm just wondering because Enzo keeps saying things to me about thinking about his kids and stuff like that, being trying to play the emotion card to some standpoint and, the strategic, hey, you're going to beat me if you get a chance, if you take me. So Nicole says, look, Cody, I'm not cutting you at all. I just want you to know that. And Cody responds back, says, I think you're trying to come up with reasons to cut me by saying that I would do it to you, and that gives you justification to cut me. Well, the reality is they need to cut each other, right? For the best gameplay, I think so. But he's telling her that. He's joking the way he says it, but that doesn't mean that there isn't still some thoughts in his mind that aren't completely joking. Nicole is suggesting to Cody, saying, hey, Cody, if you really trust me like you say you do, you should just throw the third competition, and I'll take you along. If you trust me, I'll take you along. That's not going to work. Nicole by herself saying that she's worried that she doesn't have Ian's vote and that she has to win the final competition. I don't know if it's because she thinks it helps her resume or because she wants to cut Cody because she knows she can't beat him. Not sure. Nicole's in the kitchen. Enzo's in the photo room. Cody's in the DR. No conversations being had. House guests eventually get 3 more beers, which they're excited about. They're talking about who might win America's Favorite House Guest. Davon, Tyler, Enzo. Cody mentions, hey, it could be Janelle. Nicole says, no way. There's no way Janelle's going to get it. She would hate that. Enzo again asking for more alcohol. Cody wants to go to bed, but Nicole's begging him not to. Eventually, Cody and Enzo start a chess game. Nicole goes to bed right after that. Lights go off about 3:15 Big Brother time. They call it a night. So we'll be back in 24 hours. We'll cover what happened as well. But in the meantime, tonight on TV Co, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, I'll be doing Cliff Notes live and interactive. I'd love to see y'all out there. It's my last show of the evening. After that, I'll be carrying everything over to my YouTube channel. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Monday. I will talk to y'all in 24 hours. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends. Bye.